Live? I think now we're live.
Hello? Anybody here? Anybody but us chickens?
Can anybody see us?
At least type a Y for yes or N for no.
Live. I see the yellow button. We did it. I
Okay.
think.
All
Hi,
right.
Glenn.
She said, hi, you're on. There we
There we
go.
go. Yay.
Finally, we're not but what, an hour and 15 minutes late.
You had to remind me, didn't you? You just had
Oh,
to.
I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, you guys, but everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. So, but thank you all for being here. Uh,
But I did get to sit here and watch Rebecca get dressed already. That didn't sound right. I
we know what
watched
you meant.
I watched Rebecca put her makeup on and everything. It's
But
gonna be pretty tonight. You are.
oh,
You are just beaming.
thank you. Well, I'm sure you are too. I wish you know that we
I
get to
am. Look at my face right there.
get you on here. There you
I
go,
will.
Glenn.
I will soon. Yeah, Jennifer said we're patient, and y'all have been. You are so patient.
I can't tell you how much that means to me because I'm one of those failing perfectionists and I like everything just so. And if it's supposed to be somewhere, then let's get it moving. So this kind of stuff, it drives me crazy. And I know Vicky said, I know you want to cry, and yep, the tears were just streaming. So
Well,
you
I
know,
know it's frustrating for her too.
yeah, exactly. For Vicky, yeah, because she's limited on what she knows. I'm pretty much right there with her too. So to try and
Too.
troubleshoot was a little bit hard, but let me go through real quick and say hello to everybody. We've got Jillian, hello, and Barbie and Angie, hello, ladies. So glad that you're here. Miss Misha and Roberta, hello. Um, who else do we have? Jennifer, my sister, hello. And who else did I get? Everybody, and Mama, of course, and Adam. Happy birthday!
Adam was it Cherry Berry?
I haven't come across her name yet, but for
I
those of
see
you who
her.
don't
I
know,
see her up there in chat.
well, hi, Terry Berry. Glad that you're here. Flipping crazy. Hello. Glad that you're here. And I got Jillian and Jennifer. I think I have everybody. And Adam, again, happy birthday to you. I just don't want to miss anybody.
Donna, did you say her?
Hi, this is Donna. Hi, Donna, and welcome, sweetheart. Okay, and Victoria Hanson. I see you there, honey. Hello to you again. Okay. Did I get everybody? If I didn't get you, just write in. And Jewelry Babe, hello and welcome. Glad to have you here. Okay, now I see Cherry Berries on there. And
Oh,
Vanessa,
good.
hello. And thank you very much. And Francis, hello. Okay, so I think that's everyone. Again, it's important to me. I can't tell you how many times I can go into a chat and I'm ignored, and I just think it's rude. And any of you that have wrenches, do me a favor. Please do not block anybody, unless there's foul language, okay? Because I don't want somebody to be taken as a troll and they're not a troll. So please don't block anyone. And when you have the wrenches, you are like the hostess or the host of the chat. So any person who comes in, please say hello, and be kind. I can't stress it enough. And yet I see it in chats every time that I go on YouTube that people just don't say hi. They're in their little cliques and they say hello only to their groups, and that's it. And it's so rude. So, but I just don't want anybody to ever come here and feel offended, like I said last week. And I don't know if any of you went over to see Anna's channel, Only in My Dreams, but she's got 13 or 17,000 followers. Comes to this little channel and says, "Hello, everyone." Over to see Anna's okay, channel. Mama, do you have something on?
No, that's Vicky came in.
Oh, Vicky, you're on.
Yes,
You're gonna have to close that
but
other.
it's on my phone and not the
Yeah, I'm hearing an echo.
You got to
Yeah,
turn
let me
off.
turn the. I'm trying to figure out which one I should listen to because this is the one you can see me on.
Okay.
Um,
And go with that one. If that's the one that you can hear and everything on, go with that one.
and let me turn this one down. Okay.
I think that
So
got
I've got it on so I can see, but I'm listening so I can see the chat, but you guys will see me on, and I guess I should turn it this way.
Yeah, there you go. We see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
This way.
Okay. You okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Good.
just turned the phone around. Had
Just
my
wanted to make sure
backside.
you could hear.
And here I thought I was standing on my head.
No, it was me.
Okay.
I'm
Well, I
sorry, everybody, for the lateness of the hour. I still don't know what the dilemma is, but I was able to get on with my phone and not my computer. I'm not sure why. So, but I'm here.
Good.
we were able to piece it together. And anybody
Yeah.
who needs computer help, please contact Mama.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Person here to
A
help.
lot. All I do is send you some Elmer's glue all.
Contact her. So, but again, I can't say it enough, and I'm going to keep saying it. Please be kind in the chats, and to everyone to squeak out a hi. I'm not asking you to pay their mortgage payment. Just say hello, hello. I will say that I do love that several people are putting little hearts, like how I do, sending love to people, and I love seeing that. So just
I
keep
do
it up.
too.
And you know what I'm saying? It makes the chat look pretty, and people feel
It was
good
Heather.
sending them
And see,
some
I
love.
don't even know how to do the hearts.
I'll teach you that part, Mama.
Okay.
That part. So, but our topic tonight is going to be loneliness. Loneliness is different than depression. They can go hand in hand, and you can be in a house full of people and be lonely. You know,
Right.
people that are married that say, yeah, I'm married and I'm the loneliest person that I know. I've got no communication, no interaction and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure, Vicki, that you know what I'm talking about. Whenever
Yes.
you can be in a marriage and people
Right.
can
And
be
then all of a
lonely.
sudden you're by yourself. Right.
But what do you think? How do people like get to that point? Do they just kind
Well,
of sit back and take it that, things are separating and stuff and get used to the loneliness? How do you think, in your own opinion, how
it
do things?
actually depends on each individual person because, like you just said, you can be in a room full of people and be the loneliest person in the world. Or you could be by yourself and be content with your own company. I go back and forth. I will tell you, though, that 9 years ago, when I did separate from my husband, that totally, I lost my job at the same time. Um, a big, long, drawn out story I won't get into right now, but just suffice it to say, my whole world was turned upside down. And I went to go live with my sister and a younger sister at that. So not already was my heart hurting, but I was relying on a younger sister to take me in, and that was very hurtful to my pride, for one thing. And then later on, when I found out that my mom had pretty much told my sister, then it made me feel even more uncomfortable. So, I tried to get out on my own. But let me tell you, when I got out on my own, I probably would have been better off staying with my sister because when I got out on my own, I curled up inside myself,
Mm.
and I was living in my hometown, I was living where some of my best friends from high school were my neighbors. A guy that I went to school with, his daughter was right across from me at the trailer park, and I just had, no desire to open my door to anybody. My mom was the only one, my mom and my dad were the only ones who actually got me to open the door. I would just pretend I wasn't home.
Okay, but you think that
And
depression though, instead of loneliness, to not open your door?
this is actually going to sound crazy, but I have never truly considered myself to be depressed. I probably am, and I'll say that probably just because, who wants to admit that they're depressed and, they don't want to talk to anybody. And but my saving grace is I will always look for something to pull me out of my slump. I went looking on YouTube and I found a whole different world. But having said that, you're still just yourself talking to, people on the computer. You're still physically by yourself. It can be very lonely. It can be very lonely. I would go back and forth from being lonely to feeling like, okay, I've got so many people who want to spend time with me now that, and I'm talking about 9 years ago when all this started. I was the most outgoing person. I was almost just like Rebecca, outgoing, say hi to everybody when you enter the room, spread the love around. I was like that. And then I just totally changed. And I can't say, other than the fact that I'm guessing what triggered it was the downfall of my marriage, losing my job, losing my home, having to go live with a younger sister. I felt like it was just a whole bunch of things all combined to one, and it was just the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. And I would try to force myself. It was only when I actually wasn't living by myself that I was able to. I'm living with my kids, and yes, we're all up in each other's business and the whole 9 yards, but I don't feel the loneliness now that I felt then when I truly was alone. I mean, I could still go back there and close my bedroom door and be alone, but it's not quite the same. So that's why I'm now trying to, get my fifth wheel in place. And I have to be happy with myself in order to be happy with everybody else. Pardon?
There's a difference
Yes.
difference in being lonely and alone.
I was just going to say that.
You're exactly right. Yeah, and I had to be comfortable with myself before I allowed anybody in. And you're right. There is a big difference. So it's just a matter of, and you know what? It's not even that simple. Everybody's different. I can't say what worked for me would work for anybody else, or it might work for everybody else.
How do you think, though, Mama, or
Sorry?
I said, how do you think, Mama or Dickie, that somebody goes from, a regular life to all of a sudden, whether it's, their husband has been deceased, trouble with family, whatever, that they then become lonely? How does that happen?
Well, excuse me, with me, when my husband passed away, I was working in the mill and I had all these people around me. And at his funeral, I looked around at all the people that was there, but yet I felt so alone. It's a time that I can't describe it. It's heartbreaking. It's your life. You wonder what's going to happen in your life now. And I know that sounds selfish because your spouse just passed away, and I'm thinking about, well, what's going to happen to me? You know,
That's normal,
yeah,
in my
yeah,
opinion.
I
Fear
think it's
speaking,
normal too. But then all the financial stuff, the bills and all that is placed on your shoulders. Uh,
Yeah.
and anybody that knows Darlene, what a talker she is, they live with me now. They moved in with me, and that was to keep me from being lonely or alone. And
Okay.
even in this house full of people, like you say, sometimes I still feel alone
Mhm.
Yeah.
or lonely. I still feel lonely, not alone, but
Right.
lonely.
Is it because you're missing your husband,
Yes,
or
yes, and I get to thinking about the times that we had, and when the kids was small, and all those
Memories.
memories comes
Yeah.
flooding back in, and that causes you to get have a lonesomeness.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's very natural. Whenever you've loved somebody for a long time, they become part of you. And then, when he's
And
gone,
essentially, they're responsible for your happiness and you're responsible for theirs. And then when that person is gone, you feel lost and adrift.
Right.
well, I don't think so much that you're responsible for somebody else's happiness. I mean, it's your job to be nice to them so that maybe they're happy, being
Yeah.
around.
Well, you're responsible for trying to make them happy.
That's
Right.
a good mate, but you're never responsible for somebody else's happiness. But like we have girls that are part of our group here that I know that they're lonely,
Right.
either living on their own and they might not see a person for days or weeks and they need to start socializing and getting out and stuff, but how to get that, what to do. And
Well, that's like YouTube and you guys, y'all of my link to the world. Sometimes it's 2, maybe 3 weeks before I even go outside of this house.
Right. Me too.
That's because of health issues, and it's so hard for me to get out to a car and get in. I have to have help, and that's depressing when you so used to doing things yourself, and now I have to rely on my kids, to take me places and to help me to the car, and my grandson has to take me to the doctors, and
Mhm.
all of that can be depressing. Now the doctor gave me I'm still on Zoloft, but the doctor gave me Xanax, which I haven't taken one of those though in months, 4 or 5 months, because I don't like the way it makes me feel.
Yeah.
But a lot of times if you can just talk out your frustrations and your feeling of loneliness, then that helps. And that's what all of you do. Y'all are listeners, and I just can't thank you enough.
um you are so sweet. I mean, seriously, just probably one of the sweetest people, Mama, that is on
I
YouTube.
agree.
Oh,
I
thank
agree.
y'all.
And
It makes my heart smile when I see Mom all come into the chat.
Oh my goodness. Well,
it does me.
I just love y'all. I really do, and I wish I could meet y'all in person.
Don't you know I'm coming to visit you in a couple weeks?
That's right. You are. You just come on.
I'm either coming to visit and picking you up, or I'm moving in. So
One or the other, huh?
I'll take Casey's room. He's got a really nice room.
Oh, don't he though? He keeps it
Yes, he
so nice,
does.
and he changes it around just about every week, once a week.
Does he
Yes,
really?
he does.
but what would you say? And Mama, you more so out of the three of us would know better than we would, simply because of age. But if we have somebody that is at home, and can't get out, into the world because of health reasons and stuff, what would you say are things that they can do to not be lonely? You know, you can only be on YouTube so long.
Right. Well, I like taking up a hobby, whether it
Mhm.
be sewing or painting or, you know, just some kind of a hobby that would pass away time
Right.
that you
Uh-huh.
enjoy.
And then you've got a beautiful something at the end of the project.
Right.
Mhm. But sometimes too, it's hard for that person to even know what direction to go in, or they have just accepted that they're alone and that's what it's going to be for the rest of their life. And that's not living, that's existing, you know. And my wish, no matter how corny it is that every person, you know, lives. It's like we're all guaranteed that we're going to die, but not all of us.
Right.
Some of us just exist. And
Well, you're right about that. I mean, I've told you guys I have been married and divorced 3 times, and I have come to the conclusion that my family is, my family. I'm happy with spending time with my daughter and her husband and the 2 grandchildren. Now, I live with them right now, so we spend all of our time together. Sometimes it can be, a little bit too much. And then
I know that.
other times it's just right.
Yeah.
You probably feel the same way too, Mama. You've got your family living with you, so you've got them there. And if you want to, you can go to your room and close the door and, have your memories, and you know what I'm saying? You can
Right. That's
you
what
can
I
use it
do.
to your advantage.
Yeah. But then if you need them, they're here for me, you know?
Right, right. But there are still times that you would like to have, well, maybe not you. I know sometimes me, we've got 2 noisy kids in the house. So there are times when I would like to have some, you know, silence and solitude, but not very often.
Right.
Not very often. I prefer spending time with my children and my grandchildren as opposed to being all by myself. And I think that's normal as well.
Yeah. I remember my dad telling me when my boys was little, I hollered at him one time to quit making so much noise. And my dad said, one day you're going to wish you could hear those little voices. And
Yeah.
he was so right.
Yeah.
Of course, I can still hear them in my head, you know.
Yes. The memories, we can bring
Uh,
those back.
Vicky,
Yeah.
can you see in the chat if there's anybody now that is experiencing, you know, loneliness that they wouldn't mind sharing?
Well, Adam says, oh, let me go up there. It half moved out of my vision. Adam says, sometimes I say to myself, get your rear end out of the house and go food shopping and interact with people. I have to do that too, Adam. Um, my mom, when I did live by myself right after my divorce, I lived in a trailer with my 2 kitty cats, all by myself. And my mom would come and she would literally have to say, okay, it's time to, go grocery shopping. We're going to, go to the Amish, and we're going to get some candy, and we're going to get some eggs, and, we're going to get the tomato plants. And she would make the plan for the day, and making me out like a little child by the hand. And I just let her because I didn't have the energy to
yeah.
do what I knew I had to do. I let my mom take over and tell me what to do. It was the best thing at the time.
Can you ask though, Adam, like, does he not go out and socialize, you know, on a regular basis with friends and stuff, you know, or does he have to force himself to go out because he's more comfortable being at home and being alone and lonely.
So what's your answer to that, Adam?
Oh, that's right. He can hear me. I just can't see his answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would he consider himself lonely, or does he just mean that sometimes he's at home and doesn't want to go out, so he forces himself? Does he have a regular social life and stuff, or would he say, yes, I'm lonely?
Yeah, and Jillian Smith says you feel safe in your four walls, but you have to go out.
Yeah. But sometimes those four walls close in on you.
Yeah, that's
Adam
true.
says no, he only has one friend from his previous jobs. So he does not go out and socialize a lot.
And Angie said volunteer to help others. That always
Yeah,
takes your mind
Barbie's saying the
off
same thing
yourself.
too about going to a senior citizen assisted living place and helping
Mhm.
helping the people
They-
there.
They're the ones that sing it, aren't they? Barbie and Ken, or Barbie.
Yes, they both sing. Well, I can say too, if you go to a nursing home, always take socks. If you can, buy bunches of socks, because they always need socks. And the ones that are allowed to eat sweets, they always want candy. And
Yeah.
And Kleenex.
but in the state-run ones, where they don't have family that come and see them and stuff, they get no extras. And so those kind of little things, can go a long way. But
yeah.
I would like to know if Adam doesn't mind me. I don't mean to be putting him in the spotlight or anything, but if he doesn't socialize, is that because of choice that he doesn't want to, or because he's okay with just being by himself and doesn't feel the need to socialize?
Adam's trying to learn jewelry for his hobby.
Okay, like making jewelry.
And Dwayne says jewelry is the devil.
Yeah, don't do it, Adam.
Wayne, how are you tonight? My gosh.
He
But
hasn't answered yet.
But you know what I'm saying? I mean, even I've had times in my life, even with being married and having kids, that I was lonely. I could not relate to any of my friends. I pretended. I went through the motions and stuff. I couldn't stand being around them. And, it was just a difficult time in my life. I think it was death, my father dying. He was 49 years old. And
Yeah,
He
it
was
was
young.
young.
And I had a few years there that I was literally just going through the motions. And I just thought nobody can understand me or relate to me, and no one that I could talk to. I truly was alone. And, but I was still sitting at the football games, at the soccer games. I was doing my mommy duties and stuff. I was going through the motions of my job, but inside I was dying.
What do you call it? Methodically? Just do
Yeah.
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yeah. Just out of force of habit.
Right.
Well, it was actually, just survival, because I really didn't, care too much about other things other than, of course, my kids. That was always, and still, no matter what age they're at, that will always be my number one. But
Right.
I just knew that there was nobody, including my husband, nobody that could understand the pain that I felt. And
Yeah.
I was truly alone.
Yeah.
And there's only people that come to funerals. It's nice that they come, that they get dressed up and they come and offer condolences. But when you're 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, a year down the road,
Right.
everybody's forgotten.
Where are those people then?
Yep. Yeah.
I think, and everyone in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think loneliness, that there's always a trigger or a trauma.
Yes.
There's something that happens that puts you in that position.
I believe that too.
And then you can either, stay in that, and you can be in it for years and not even, realize it, or that much time has gone by, or you can pull yourself out of it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, I have girlfriends that I've known since I was 5. So for 49 years, I've known them. And, but even at that time, I wanted nothing to do with any of them. You know, my phone calls were very few and stuff, social activities. Mm-mm, don't want to do it, but I would, go maybe every once in a while just to put on that appearance. But like I said, inside, hollow, dead, alone, totally alone. And
Mm.
I would love to hear just total silence because that meant I didn't have to think. I didn't have to feel, and it fit right in with my loneliness. So it was just quiet. So, but it took me a couple years, to deal with it and to accept that, that my dad was gone. And this might sound stupid, but the two people that I never thought would ever die was my dad and Elvis Presley.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well,
I
we
loved
tend
Elvis.
to think that our parents, our spouse, will always be
Right.
here, and then
Right.
wham! All of a sudden they're gone.
And
Okay.
it pulls the rug out from
It
underneath of you
sure
and
does.
punches
It
you in the gut
throws
at the
you
same
on your
time. Hmm.
behind. It really does.
But, and, whenever you are, especially for people that are alone and they're living by themselves and, they have no one to turn to. And that's why I always say, here on YouTube to be friendly to everyone because sometimes you are the only hello, or nice word that person is going to
They
hear
get,
Right.
for it,
yeah.
you know? So
If you
you
think, well,
never,
somebody cares.
the camera is very deceiving. Like people see us on camera and they get their own image of who we are and what our lives are. And it's very deceiving because we don't present everything to you. I mean, just like I said to you, Mama, what had happened, with the whole camera situation and stuff. So you see on camera only what is in this 17 inches. That's it.
Right. Right.
Right.
Mhm.
You don't see beyond that. And then there's people that are in the chat that we never see, some that don't even put their pictures up, on there. So we
Right.
don't even know what they look like.
Yeah.
But
Right.
if you
All you
know them,
have is a name, or
we,
it
right.
might not even be their
And
real
sometimes
name.
it's not even the real name.
Right.
But at least we know though that they're there, that they show up.
Right.
But
Things
you
and
don't know what's behind them. You don't know what they've been through.
What their story is,
Yeah.
what's going on in their life. Right.
Hmm.
so that's why I always take the time, that couple seconds, just to, like I said, squeak out a hi. It will never hurt you,
That's
ever,
right.
or being typed.
My
Those
dad
two.
used to say it don't cost nothing to be nice to people.
Well, and that's true, Mama.
Yeah.
But people that are struggling though with being lonely, I can say from my own experience is to reach out and to talk to someone because there is always somebody else going through what you're going through.
There is somewhere.
Mhm. Or something close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Though
Um,
you feel there's nobody that relates to you, there's always someone there. And see, like what for Adam is very well spoken. He's articulate. He's a good looking guy. So if he wanted to be out in the dating pool, he could be. But
yeah.
that's his choice. Maybe for right now that he doesn't want to. But for you to get out into the world, Adam, and start experiencing some things, meeting some people, maybe going on a trip and stuff, that's only going to make you feel better about yourself, and it's going to make you happy.
Well, I think he's fixing to make a move anyway. To a different
Yeah, he is moving.
state. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then when he gets settled, he's gonna fly to Atlanta, and we're gonna pick him up, and then me and him's going out on a date.
Oh,
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 So
okay.
it would be me and him and Darlene and Kevin, the whole I'm putting words in Adam's mouth now. He didn't say all that. He did say he was going to fly into Atlanta.
He's moving to Georgia.
Pardon?
Adam's going to move to Georgia.
No, he's moving, I think, to Delaware, Denver, one of the D's.
Wow. That's what? Yeah, they're both in.
I think it's Delaware. Yeah, Delaware. Adam, speak up.
Live there. Never know people live there.
He says no to Delaware for the taxes.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
I don't know.
It's one of the D's.
Denver's not so cheap either, though. I don't think. So maybe I'm
to Delaware. Okay.
But is there anybody else though that can relate to that? That that you have times that you do feel lonely, or
that Velvet Sunshine, and she has Sunflower. Sorry, she said that she had been lonely. Let me find her. But it's going on 7 years, and she's been learning more cool stuff about herself. And the more she learns the more she heals and loves herself, the more she has to give. So that's a good outlook.
Well, it definitely is. But can I ask you though? I'll call you by your screen name. I don't want to call you by your first name. But whenever you went through this period of being lonely, did something tragic happen? Or did you have a trauma that put you into that state of, being by yourself?
Walter, who is Christine in real life, says, I moved from my home, friends, and country in December. I have yet to make any friends here and have low self-esteem, so it's hard to reach out. My goals are what's keeping me over the surface.
Oh, baby doll, where do you live? In what state?
That's what I was going to ask her
She
too.
lives in Malta.
Where?
Malta.
I don't know what that is.
I think that's. She moved from Sweden.
Okay, I was going to say, I remember her saying that she lived in Sweden or Denmark or someplace.
No, it's Sweden.
Sweden.
And I know I'm taking her words, but let's see.
So she didn't move here to the States. She moved to another country.
Right. She moved to.
And this was in December. And she hasn't made any friends yet in 6 months.
Okay, but are you in the country that you're in? Are you there for work? Are you there for school?
Malta. I don't know where that is, but
I don't either. Malta, is that by the?
Sounds like a long ways off, don't it?
Is that still in another country, or is that here in the U.S. somewhere?
No, it's not in the U.S.
Okay.
Over there. But if you don't mind answering that, are you somewhere for school or for work? Because too, it is the older that you get.
South of Italy.
Oh, okay.
Well, are there other people there? Are there other Swedes that have moved to that area also? Just like you did, or maybe you went there for marriage, but are there other people from your country, that you can reach out to and perhaps join, a little group or something with them? And the other thing is too, one thing that connects people together everywhere, doesn't matter what country you live in, is food. We all love food.
Comfort food.
Yeah.
But in the past few years, all this farm to table restaurants are out there, and there's underground restaurants, and there's food groups and stuff and cooking classes. And so you could join something like that, doing a food tour, doing a cooking class, whatever, and start meeting people that way. If you like art, go to the open exhibits that they have, go to the things at the museum.
Theaters. Mhm.
Yeah, the museums always have activities where you can go, to whether it's a black tie event or it's just something that's in the evening to learn about, a certain artist. But that's also a way too to meet people they tend to be more educated and stuff that go to those events. So, there's several ways of meeting people. But as we get older, when we're young and small kids, it's very easy to make friends. You go up and go, "Hi, what's your name?" "Well, I'm Rebecca." "Oh, I'm Susie."
Yeah.
Easy. But as you get older, it does get harder to make friends. And
Babsy says there are only two people in her life that give her unconditional love, and that's her grandkids.
And they
Aw.
will.
Yeah.
They will. And Roberta said, I live in a house full of love and am lonely.
Yeah.
but okay, Roberta, though, what is it that you're lonely for? I mean, is it like what would it be that you need in your life to say that you're not lonely? What would it be? 'Cause
She's answering. Walter, Christine said that her husband works there, but she's at home.
She's at home and
And
she's
she's only
33.
33.
yeah, but
So do you have a vehicle to go somewhere, or do you not? Are you stuck at home because you're in another country and you don't have a vehicle, and so you moved to another country for your husband's job?
That's what it sounded like. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
And Dwayne said church is a social place as well.
oh, for sure.
Oh,
And
definitely.
and churches always have activities. I know here in our area, the churches are so competitive, like to get you to come, especially with the groups for the kids. They might have one
Yeah.
skiing in Colorado and then another one that they're taking a trip all the way to Canada. And it's like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. But they
So I
come up
think
with all these.
Roberta answered your question. She said, "This is going to sound so funny, I know, but a good friend." I guess when you asked her what did she need,
Mhm.
Or what, I don't understand. What
She's
trauma?
saying that she needs a good friend because I know, and if you don't mind
Oh,
me
yes, I see what she's saying.
sharing, Roberta,
yeah,
but I mean, she has a husband, she's got her mom, she has her
right.
granddaughter that she takes care of. So she's basically telling you, I'm not a good friend. No, I'm kidding. But she's saying, though, that, she needs someone there in person that, she could relate to, hang out with,
Relate
have
to,
fun.
yeah, right.
But what
It doesn't sound funny at all. It makes very good sense.
It makes all the sense in the world.
it happens more often than we think,
Yes.
But
you can see people, say, for instance, at your job and think that they've got this terrific life, and actually they go to work and they go home and they're around nobody. They don't have anyone.
it reminds me of that commercial where this woman has a smiley face on a fan looking thing, and she holds it up in front of her face, but yet
In
she's
front of her face.
yes, and but behind that fan or behind that piece of paper, she's lonely, but she's putting on a airs, putting on
A face.
yeah.
I have,
Yeah. I
you
can see
know, Roberta,
that. Here in the kitchen.
while Samantha is at school during the daytime, why don't you get involved in some kind of activity, whether it's a walking club, with people that walk, going to the gym. There's even people that get together and go to a movie as a group, but there's all kinds of different. What are you doing?
Right.
Uh-oh, he's got a knife.
But there's all kinds of stuff that you can do that you could get involved in groups so that you could meet someone, because you're such a nice person. So it isn't like you're somebody that people wouldn't want to talk to. That's not it.
She said, when you get hurt, though,
Or
it's
you have a horrible personality, or
You said you get
Yeah, you
Is that
can.
what?
I'm sorry, who you speaking to, Rebecca?
I was asking? Roberta said you get hurt.
Oh,
It's hard to trust after that.
After
yeah,
what? What am I missing?
After
being
you get
hurt.
hurt by, I guess, by something or someone.
Somebody who
Hmm.
hurt you.
Yeah.
So she was hurt by a friend. Is that what happened?
Well, she didn't say. She just said
Yeah,
when
she
you
didn't
get
say.
hurt,
Not sure.
it's hard to trust.
Well, that
Well,
could
it is.
happen. A friend can do that. I had a girlfriend that do me really dirty, and let me tell you something. It was a while before I thought about hanging out with any friends again.
But you know, the
So,
best thing to do is to forgive them and
yeah,
go on about your
you're
way.
right. And it might be really hard to do too. And another thing, as far as forgiving them, you got to be able to forget about it too, without thinking of what they did to you. And that's one of the hardest things of all.
Without dwelling on it, at least. Sometimes you can forgive, but you can't forget.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
it's hard to forget.
but if she's lonely and wanting a good friend, if you don't put yourself out there and at least trust some, then it's not going to change.
Yeah, yeah. You're
So
not going to find
you have to,
anybody if you're not looking.
but you have to at least try and see what's out there, because you could meet somebody that you feel like you've known them your entire life and have a great relationship. And I know personally that relationships that you have with a girlfriend is
Yes.
just different than any other relationship in your life. And men can't understand that, but we totally connect.
I was devastated.
Babsy,
I was devastated.
Babsy said when
I'd had a
someone
girlfriend for 30 years.
Hold on, Vicky. What did she say, Mama?
Babsy said when someone really pisses me off, I just picture them naked and it makes me laugh. I used to do that about my boss. Anytime he'd make me mad at work, I'd picture him naked with nothing on but a necktie,
My
and then I'd
God.
just die laughing.
Well,
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, I was bad back then.
there you go. That's one way we can handle this stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
goodness. Well, you have to laugh. If you don't, you'll cry.
Well, this is true. But
Yeah.
Roberta, you're a wonderful person, and if you put yourself out there, you are going to meet people that you will have things in common with, and someone that you can relate to and connect with. There are several of you that are in the chat that I interact with outside of the chats and the programs and auctions and stuff. And because I'm open to being friends with anybody. And I know that one, and I'm sure most of you guys know, that, Cindy and Vicky and I are very close. And Jennifer Layton is another one that I like really relate to on everything. But from the first time that we talked, we click on everything. When we go to auction, it's hard because we'll both hit on something. So but those relationships that you have with girlfriends, they're important. They're good for your marriages or your relationships if you have a boyfriend versus a husband, because you learn so much from each other, and it's a give and take. It's almost like a
I
marriage.
agree.
But men don't have the same kinds of relationships that we do as women with each other.
No, they
Yeah.
don't.
So
No.
that's why we value friendship so much, because friendship for a woman goes very deep. And so if there's people out there that are so lonely because they don't have those friends, they don't know what they're missing.
We
or they
love,
do know,
we love deep and we hurt deep.
Right.
or they
You're
know,
right, Mama.
they know they are missing how to achieve it. You know, how to just find a friend. There's so many in every town I'll live in. There is somebody else sitting at home saying the exact same thing. I'm lonely, and how do
Right.
I find a no?
You know,
So,
Dwayne hit the nail on the head when we were having the discussions about divorce. And I said, I'm not looking for a man. I'm, done with that aspect of my life, that I don't have the desire. I'm happy with my family. And Dwayne made the comment, Vicky doesn't want to train another man. And that's pretty much what it
Oh,
boiled down to. I don't have the energy that it takes. First of all, I'm not really all that old, but with all of my health issues, I feel old. So I just feel like, what's more important to me right now, taking care of my health and myself, or, trying to put myself out there and find a man, and it's just not, myself wins, you know?
well, I'm done too old to look for another man. Well, don't want another one no way. But if I was to catch one, I wouldn't know what to do with him.
Yeah, that's the same way with me.
So, there you go. But
but
no,
see,
I married
like,
my high school sweetheart, and he was my one and only. So,
Yeah,
oh,
my mom and dad are
well,
like
see,
that. They've, go ahead.
I was going to say, Vicky, that you
Go
say
ahead.
you don't want a man and that you're fine by yourself and this and that. And I'm sorry, but I don't believe it. I think that you're afraid of love. But do I think that at some point down the road here, you're going to pop up and go, oh, you guys, I want to introduce you to my boyfriend, Oscar? Yes, it's going to happen. He's going to be here. I know that.
make
That's what my mom and dad keep
make sure
saying.
his name's Oscar now.
Yep. Well, but wait and see if his
Yeah,
name's not Oscar exactly. But you're going to pop up with that. So as much as you say that you don't, you do. You just don't. What
I don't know.
you're saying
Right?
is you don't want to get hurt again.
That's
But
probably it. You're right.
Well,
no,
Well, my thing is I have always changed my life to suit a man. If he liked to go to the Pittsburgh Steeler ball games, then I would watch them on the TV with, to go to baseball games,
you'd be
then
there
I
in
would
your
go.
cheerleading, right?
What?
I said if he liked the Pittsburgh Steeler games to go to, you were there in your cheerleading outfit for him.
Exactly. Exactly. And I could have cared less about any of the ball sports, but I did it because that's what made him happy. I guess that's why I said earlier about being responsible for someone's happiness, because every time I have been with a man, I have been responsible for their happiness, and they have made it quite well known that at the end of our marriage, I was no longer making them happy. And so, and I have health problems these days that, I have a couple, these things that I really like to do, my cat for one thing, my jewelry for another. And if they don't like it, they can walk out the door. I don't care. This is for me now. I'm taking care of myself now. No one else was going to do it. I was taking care of the men in my life, and they weren't doing, you know what, I can't say that. The last marriage I had was the worst one I had, but it was the best one that I had, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I don't have the energy that it takes to deal with, I'm not going to say a man, because it's not just a man, it's cultivating any kind of permanent relationship. I just don't have the energy that it takes to, and yes, it is with a man, because I got lots of girlfriends. I just can't be bothered to bring out the big guns for the men anymore. They, it's one of those "what have you done for me lately" thing. I don't mean to sound mean or terrible, but I mean, in essence, I was doing everything for them and they weren't doing anything for me, and it was making me miserable. So what do you do in that case?
Well, it doesn't mean that you're done though, Vicki. Like I said, within a couple months when you pop up here and say, "Oh, you guys, I want you to meet Oscar," be like, "Oscar who?"
Yeah, Oscar who? Yeah, I know never say never. I know something could always pop up, but it would really have to be something. And something would have to have a lot of money, because as I get older, I like the finer things in life, don't we all?
And watch, he's going to be a bus boy at your local Denny's is who you're going to follow. That's what it's going to be. So, but
the chant saying Oscar Mayer Wiener.
But do you think, though, that loneliness is something that we all experience at some point in our life, or as we grow older?
Yes.
Yes.
All the time at some point in our life, not just as we grow older. You can be a child. The one who's about to turn 6 has a hard time making friends. And she was friends with a little girl that they met when we first moved out here to Arizona. We took her to a play date thing every Tuesday, and it was something that was set up by the base. And so, they went, and, Erin she was 6 months old when we came out here, so she was wee little. And she met this other little girl. They were about the same age. There was maybe 6 months between them. They both had dark hair. If you didn't, they almost could have been twins. Even as they grew up, they looked like each other. Dark hair, same build, same shape, everything. And the other little girl's dad got orders to go, and they moved 5 states away. And Erin, this happened, they moved back in November, right before Thanksgiving. And she is having a hard time finding friends in school. They're picking on her. They're bullying her. And when she tells Shauna and I something, then Shauna will talk to the teacher. She told us something last week. You guys know who Pennywise is, that scary clown in the Stephen King It movie, and they've redone another It movie in the past couple years. That is not a TV show that 5 and 6 year olds should be watching. I don't even think 14 or 15 olds should be watching it. I mean, it's just full of violence and carnage, and kids don't need to be exposed to that already. There's already stuff in their life that they can't control. So we as adults need to control what they watch on TV. Well, one of the kids in school evidently has free reign of the TV, and he was making a game out of it, and Erin was telling us about this game, and she's like, yeah, and Georgie has his arm pulled off. Pennywise chewed his arm off, and Shauna's like, what are you talking about? And I said, she's talking about that clown movie that has just been out in the last year or two. I don't know. Anyhow, she knew enough about the movie that she didn't make it up herself. We knew she heard it from somebody. But she's trying so hard to be friends in school that she's trying with the wrong kids. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we as adults do the same thing. We're just so lonely that we reach out to, sometimes in our era, we reach out to the wrong people. She's definitely reaching out to the wrong kids at school. But what do you do as a mother or a grandparent when something like that happens? She's lonely, just like we get lonely as well. And she wants to spend time with friends and all of that. But yet, it's not a quality of a friendship. It's not really I don't know.
And you can't really choose your kids' friends for them. But
Yeah, it's so
if
hard, so
you know
hard.
that they're the wrong type of friends, then you can maybe talk to your child and, you know,
Well, Shauna has this issue, and she's been doing this since she could talk at a year old. She has been telling us that she does not want to be the princess when she gets older. She wants to be the prince. She wants to be Prince Charming. She wants to be a boy. And she's going on 6, and there has not been a birthday, there has not been a holiday, there's not been, when I took her shopping to get clothes for the summer, I let her pick out her own clothes. Jeans can be unisex, boy or girl. So we got lots of jeans and that kind of thing. But it's just, to tell a young one, they don't want to listen to you anyhow. Everything you tell them, they'll do the exact opposite thing just because you told them not to. It's just the way they are. So, but she's trying so hard to make friends, and she's trying to make friends with the boys mostly. And I just feel so bad for her. I wish there's something that I can do other than what I already do, try to be her grandma and try to be her friend as a grandmother. But it's they don't want their best friend to be their grandmother.
No, well, no, and she's learning at that age, though, even though you might think that she's lonely, she, at that age, her attention span is very short.
Yeah.
And so she's
Yeah.
learning at that age, though, how to form relationships that's going to last the rest of her life, that she'll be
Yeah.
using the same system over and over again in her life for other friendships. So,
Right.
and it's hard to watch, but it's something that she has to go through, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's very bad and it's sad that she doesn't have a lot of friends right now, but that'll change hopefully, So I
Yeah, the
used to
girls
tell
she
my,
tries to be friends with are mean to her, and the boys are too rough. I don't know.
well, but she'll find her way,
Yeah.
Look at the ones that stay like that their entire life and are always, on their own. And now they've gotten to our age in their 50s or beyond that, 60s, 70s, and no different because they've always been pushed, to the side.
Right.
yeah, Tracy said sometimes guys make better friends, and they will.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you. Sometimes they do make better friends. I I just wish that I wish that she didn't have to go through it. That's my wish as a grandmother, that she didn't have to go through it. She had a good friend, and she had to leave, due to her daddy being in the military. Of course, that's how they met to begin with. Both their daddies were in the military, and they're at the same place.
Well, can't they be pen pals, and write
Well,
to
neither one of them really know how to write yet. They're in kindergarten. And they are trying. We've tried to call there a couple times, and I think it's actually being harder on the other little girl than it is on Erilyn, because her mother has said, I think, it's best if we let them try to make friends, where they are, as opposed to, trying hard to maintain the friendship, I guess. I don't know. I guess she's having a hard time with her little girl too. So,
wow. And so that was her answer, though.
well, didn't help us with Erilyn any, because Erilyn wanted to talk to Allison, and and her mom said that, and then she, after that, then she didn't return any more messages or anything. So I guess she's having a rough time of it with her in another state. So, but I guess they all need to learn their own way. I guess it's what makes us the people that we are when we get older, right?
That's exactly what I said, that, it's at that early age that we start forming, relationships,
Uh-huh.
and as we carry throughout our lives. And I
Mhm.
mean, even as parents, our two main responsibilities are we teach our children how to love by our examples of
Right.
love, relationships we're
Mhm.
in, and we teach them how to live, how to get along
Right.
with people, how to have their social skills, and to clean a house, and to
Right.
teach them
Yeah.
when they've left our nest, and we teach them how to love. Those are the two
Mhm.
main things. And, unfortunately, for some people, they experience loneliness for a lot longer period of time than other
Than
people.
what they need to. Yeah.
So, because I know firsthand that it's one of the saddest things there are to um, want to share with somebody what's going on, but you're just so deep in it that you just don't bother,
Right.
stay by yourself.
Mhm.
Sometimes silence is golden. Like I said,
Right.
that I always I wanted was just quiet. I didn't want.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it's deafening, though.
Yep, but it's just the way that it goes.
Yeah.
Oh, do you think though that men experience it more than women do, or women more than men?
Yeah.
I think women experience it more than men. I
Mhm.
think we feel the need to be close to someone, whether it's a girlfriend or their husband, or their boyfriend. And of course, that could just be the impression that I get from men, that they don't need as much as we do. They don't need to feel that closeness as much as we do. At least
Yeah.
that's the opinion
I
I
think the
get.
females are needy.
You think they're needy?
Needy. Yeah, I think we need that closeness. We need that friendship.
Mhm. Well, that's because, so Mama, I mean, it's a fact that men and women use different sides of our brains, but women are
Yeah.
emotional. Everything for us is about emotions, if we're happy, if we're sad, whatever, if we're crying. Why aren't you, looking at me when I'm crying?
Right.
Men don't do that. They are physical thinkers. They're very simple minded. And I don't mean that in a bad way, Dwayne
Right.
or anybody else that's
They
there.
just think of things in simple terms.
Yeah, they like one step at a time, not to be overwhelmed and stuff. So it's very hard if you are lonely to then approach somebody that's pretty much like a caveman and say, "Hello, I'm lonely, and I need help." They
Hmm.
they wouldn't have a clue as to what to do.
Right.
Right.
And it's not against, I'm not a man hater, but they just wouldn't have the ability, to deal with that.
Right.
They wouldn't be equipped with. I mean, are ask the girls in the chat, do they agree or disagree?
Well, it's like the book Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. I mean,
Mhm.
it's true. We're from totally different planets.
Well,
We
what
think differently. We solve problems differently.
didn't know men solve problems. No, I'm kidding. I thought they got rid of problems. But no, I mean, and so it's very hard though for a woman then if she doesn't have that girlfriend relationship there to rely on to try and turn to a spouse or a mate that's a male that he's just simply not going to understand. You know, he's
Right.
he's not. He's not. He's not going to say, "Oh, honey, go get a bowl of ice cream and let's sit and talk about it." No.
Yeah, we'll see who eats the last spoonful.
Or hurry
Not
up and get through
happening.
talking. My ball game's on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or now the famous one with mine is, I'll say, "Are you listening to me?" He's like, "I hear." It's like you're not even looking at me. And every once in a while, he will get it right what I have been saying, but a lot of times I'll say, "What was it I said?" And he's like, "You were talking about that stuff." It's like, "No, you're not getting off that easy. What stuff was I talking
Uh-uh.
about?" And he goes, "You know,
Yeah.
Stop. We're here talking a lot about it. Like, no, that doesn't count.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, TV above all else, with men, that's just how it is, and they like that excitement and stuff. And women are different. We are nesters. We take care of our environment, the people that are in it and stuff, and we put ourselves last. And a lot of
Right.
times that's what happens is when you have that environment and you take care of everybody in it, and that's where you've spent all your time, and then those people are gone.
Right.
Now you're alone.
yeah. That's like
Yeah.
at a mealtime. The woman fixes her husband's plate first, and then the kids,
Yes.
and then hers last.
Mm-hmm.
And like you
Yep.
say, once all those are gone, then the woman's left there alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a man can continue to watch TV, go outside and tinker in the shed, whatever.
Yeah,
But a woman, everything that she's ever known is now pulled out from underneath her feet.
Right.
And yeah, the loneliness and the depression is right there. It goes hand in hand.
yeah.
So, and everyone deals with it differently.
Right.
So, are the women in the chat or Mr. Dwayne um, saying any? Yeah, I was looking for something for a jewelry customer, so I was going through the chat and stuff. Some of the stuff that Dwayne says to me, I'm like, I did not know he said that. So I was just looking
Adam
yesterday.
says men have a special skill that they learned early on to hear but not listen.
Oh, is that what it is? A special skill.
Yes, it's a special skill set.
I'm glad mine's not here to hear that he has a special skill, because he would bring that up. Yeah. I am listening. Remember, I have special skills. So he definitely would be saying that one to me.
Don said this is a throwback to 1952. I'm not fixing no dude's plate.
Yeah.
Well, I always
See, I
do
used to fix my
husband.
husband's plate, cut his meat, fix his glass of iced tea, the whole 9 yards. I was good to my
I
man,
do that too. I don't do
and
it
he
anymore.
was not as good to me.
Yeah. Well, see,
And
but
I learned how to do that through my mom and dad. My mom and dad have only ever been with each other. I'm 58, so they've been married 59 years, almost 60 years. They've been married, and they have their differences, but they've been together for so long they can finish each other's sentences. My mom still works a part-time job, and my dad stays at home and he makes the meals. She works a nighttime shift. So, she sleeps during the day and he'll have her meals ready for her. And it's funny to see this side of my dad, because when we were growing up, oh my gosh, he worked a night shift. And if you woke him up, you were getting a licking right then and there. He didn't care who it was, what the problem was. If you woke him up from sleeping, because, he had to get back up and go to work that night, you got the belt, man. So, they've only ever known each other and they're still together. And that's unusual in this day and age. But I learned it from that relationship. My mom always did for my dad first. And that's normally, just judging by my family, extended family, that's how it works. The women take care of the men and, make their plates and cut their meat, and even down to fixing their meat different than everybody else's,
Yep.
for that meal. So,
Yeah, well, because your spouse becomes part of you.
number one, yep.
And so, without even speaking to them, what their life is. And, you do what you can to make them happy. That's just human nature. So, you know,
Christine says she can't cook. Her husband does it. For one thing, gender roles is not for them. So they, her husband goes out and work, but he also comes home and makes dinner too. Evidently, he prefers that. There are some men who do like to cook, and don't mind helping with chores. Mine was not one of them.
Wayne does the majority of cooking at his house, if I'm not mistaken, and is a very good cook.
Yeah,
Vicky
I've
and
heard that
Mama,
he is.
I need to step away just for a couple of minutes because I got to take baby out. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we can hold the chat up, don't you think?
I believe
Mama?
so. We'll try. I know Vanessa said that she'd been married, let's see, 47 years, I think she
Yeah.
said, and working together and compromise.
Yes, exactly. That's what it is. And in my marriages, it was always me doing all the compromising. And the longest, I can't say that, 6 years seems to be my level of BS that I will put up with. 6 years. After that, the gloves are off, and I don't, I'm not going to forgive the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's just easier this way. And, I said to my mom, I've got health issues. Who wants to, date a woman who has major health issues? I've got a lot of baggage. I don't want to take any baggage to the table and have to deal with. I felt I've dealt with baggage all 3 of my marriages. So I, don't want to deal with what I dealt with from my husbands. I don't have the energy or the patience anymore, I guess. I've got all the patience in the world for children or senior people, but not someone of the opposite sex,
Right. I know what you mean.
Well, you had a good marriage, and I know Susan Gill had a very good marriage too. Some of you ladies had very good marriages. I just didn't have a good marriage. I obviously am not good at picking a male role in my life. So I'm done. I'm 3 times and I'm out.
Right.
I'm happy to spend time with my grandbabies, and I only have 1 child, my daughter. So that's it. I'm still lucky to have my mom and dad, and I go back
Oh, you
to the
are
East
lucky.
Coast and visit them. Yes, yes. And I have both my mom and my dad, and both of them have had health issues this past year. So, I told my daughter we need to get closer back home.
Yeah.
And, Shauna's like, well, I can't guarantee that we're going to be going back to Virginia when he gets a job when he retires. And I said, well, he can get his job, a good government job just as well in Virginia or somewhere back closer to, my family than we are right now. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Did you read what Dwayne wrote?
no, I should, because
I
he's
can't
funny.
repeat
I wasn't
his.
looking at the chat. I'm going to go back and find
He
it.
said one of my first meals with Heather, she started cutting my
Oh,
meat.
with Heather.
Yeah,
Okay.
she started cutting my meat. He said I
Yeah,
was
okay.
like,
See, my
WTF.
husband's expected that. Even with my arthritic hands the way they are, I mean, it was painful. It's painful to cut my own dang meat, much less somebody else's. And, I do it for my grandchildren here, but that's about it. I'm not willing to cut my husband's meat anymore, okay?
Well,
Maybe he should be cutting my meat.
Here just a couple of months ago, my daughter took me to the doctor in Opelika, which is about 30 miles away. And her son, my grandson, met us down there for a meal. And lo and behold, he ordered a steak, and she reached over and started cutting his meat up. And his fiance looks at her like, "What are you doing?" But he was used to her
Adam, you
always.
don't know what my baggage is. You and I need to have a conversation sometime, and I'll tell you exactly what my baggage is, and then you can say, okay, you're right, Vicky, you have too much baggage to come to a relationship with. I bet I will win.
Adam said jewelry baggage.
Yeah, he said maybe jewelry baggage, which yes, that is a lot, but it's what what my hobby is now. Gives me something to do, gives me something to make a couple little bucks off of, makes me feel like I'm still doing good in the world. I've got a lot of friends who are doing the same thing, and we can commiserate with each other, on our common problems, or even our problems that we don't have in common with somebody else.
Well, Tracy, you are a very lovely lady, and I admire your husband for uh, taking his vows seriously. She said she offered her husband a divorce when she was diagnosed with chronic disease, but he's still here 20 years later, and they've been
Well, good
married.
for her and good for him.
Right.
My second husband said to me, I will push you around when you are confined to a wheelchair. And I thought, okay. But, wait until that day. I wasn't willing to wait around to see if he was going to be true to his word. I mean, for him to get a job was almost unheard of. And if he did have a job, he would quit. He would only work for a certain period of time. So I was the main supporter.
Oh my goodness.
And it was rough. And when I asked him one time if he had $60 towards the car insurance, he's like, what, are you hard up or something?
Oh my
And
goodness.
I was like, oh, I am so done. So done. No more Steeler games for you on my TV, buddy. That's it. But yeah, I just
there is a breaking point. A breaking and a stopping point.
Yeah, there are times when, I think I've always been raised in a Christian life, Mama. So anytime anything happens, I accepted it because it was God's will, and I still accepted it. That's not what I'm getting to here. But I've never complained about my lot in life, being diagnosed at the age of 23 with rheumatoid arthritis. And then after that, just one thing after another. And, it's my lot in life. Whatever happens, it was meant to happen. It was destined from day one, before I was even born, that this was to be my lot in life. And I guess I feel like when I was in a relationship with a man, I would lose myself because I catered to them. I did everything they wanted to do. It was like a one-way street. They never returned the favor. They never, it wasn't 50-50. And so, after a while, it's like, why bother?
Right.
If I can be just as happy with my grandchildren, or happier with my grandchildren than I was with a man, then that tells me that I don't really need a man. But, there are still times when, you think, oh, I'd like to go to a movie or go out to dinner. And of course, no one wants to do that by themselves.
No, I wouldn't.
I've never been to eat by myself, never once.
I don't think
And
I have either.
I haven't either.
And that's a shame,
Vicky,
that I
do you
don't feel
have
like I can go and have a meal by myself.
Do you have friends out there in Arizona you can go and do things with?
No. I had one friend, but I recently came to the conclusion that
You need your bone. Daddy, give him his bone. I'm sorry.
I disappointed her. I could see sometimes if I would do something. She was very, very religious, even more so than me. And if I, didn't make it to church on Sunday, or whatever the case may be, or whatever. I could see the disappointment in her face, and I don't like to disappoint people.
But why
So,
would she be disappointed in you? Like if you couldn't make it somewhere, what was that about?
well, the biggest place was church. And when I get up in the morning and, you know, I'm getting ready, you know, I've been suffering a health issue for close to the past year, and I've actually lost quite a bit of weight from it. And they're running all kinds of tests and trying to rule out this and trying to rule out that, and I did not go to church a lot of times because I was running for the bathroom. And I don't want to be running for the bathroom and not make it in a church in front of hundreds of people. So I'm just going to stay home if I don't feel that, you know, I can make it to the bathroom or not. You know what I'm saying? And just the look of disappointment on her face. And I just couldn't deal with it. Maybe I walked away from it. I don't know. Too soon. Maybe I should have just hung in there. I don't know. But we were friends for, I guess, 2 years. I've been out here 5.5 years. But I don't know. I always felt the pressure to be on my very best behavior. And I mean, you know, as far as cracking, you know, a naughty little joke here and there, I couldn't do it with her because very, very religious. And I would not want to cause her any grief or pain. So I felt the best way to handle it was just to back away. And then I thought, if she comes to me and says, you know, what do we need to do to fix this? Then I will say, this is, you know, how I'm feeling. This is, you know, but that hasn't happened. So she must have been tired of looking at me with that look of disappointment in her face. It's the only thing I can think of.
Well, like Frances said, if she knows your health situation, then maybe
And she does.
you should be disappointed in her.
Well, and that's what my daughter said. My daughter said she should be, you know, she should recognize where your thought process is because of my health. And, but, you know,
You've been more understanding.
yeah. Well, my girls are home, so I've got to go.
Oh, I hear.
Oh, yeah.
Are there?
Daddy got pizza for you guys. I'm going to have potato soup. Okay. Well, I know we're not at the end of the conversation here. I can't hear whoever's talking.
I know they're boinging. Rebecca, try it again.
Wait.
Hello.
I heard hello.
I heard a hello.
Yeah, me too.
Why is your candy out?
And
Rebecca, you're not coming through, hon.
the Poor Church Network. So is none other than Mama Crawley.
Yeah, Rebecca, you're having connection issues.
What?
Oh, Dwayne, don't say that. I'll freak out.
Yeah, well, I am going to have to get off here and take care of get the girls some, they brought pizza home.
Pizza.
You hear me, Ellen? I got to get my computer and stuff put away. I will come back in on the chat. I'll come back for the auction. I just won't be in the chat. I'll be shopping like everybody else.
Okay, hon.
So I will talk to you guys later. Talk to you later, Rebecca. I love you.
All right, you have a good one.
Okay, thank you. I'll see you back in the auction.
All righty, bye-bye. Oops. I'm by myself. What do I do? Oh, there's that little red button up there. I believe I could click it. Oh, mercy. And I can't talk. I can talk to myself when I'm alone. Oh, me, no, I don't have this either. Oh, me. Can y'all hear me? Yep, I think so. Somebody's laughing at me. Oh, my goodness. I don't know any jokes. Adam's the jokester. Let's see. He said, what do you, I'll chop it up bad. What do you call a car bought by a lamb? That's not the way it goes. Is Adam still, Adam, help. What is that about the lamb? There's Rebecca back. Oh, thank goodness. Well, halfway anyway. Oh, what kind of a car does sheep like? A Lamborghini. Oh, man, I thought that was so cute. Francis, I was 18 when I got married. I graduated high school in May and got married in June. I got engaged when I was 17, and my dad, only thing he asked was that I finish school first. So I did. But you know, back in them days, in the dark days, a woman didn't need an education much. Well, wait a minute. My dad always said it's the other way around because a man had to work for a living. But a woman's place was in the home. My first baby was when I was 19, almost 20. I was born in this house that I'm living in now. Never lived anywhere else. Yeah, back then, Francis, it was normal to get married very young. And I had a baby in 60. Well, I got married in 58. Had my first baby in 60, another one in 61, and another one in 62. Then the doctor told me what was causing it. So I waited almost 10 years and I had my daughter. Yeah, Dwayne, one house. Can you imagine the junk that is in here? Francis, I was a stay-at-home mom for the first 18 years of my marriage. And when my son was graduating high school, my firstborn, my daughter was entering first grade. I went to work then. I took the night shift so that I would be at home during the day in case one of them got sick at school, I could go get them. And my husband was on the first shift, which is a day shift, and he was home at night with them. So that worked out good. You sure, Marianne? Come on. I've been trying to get somebody brave enough to go down in this basement and explore and see what's down there. I'm scared to go down. No, Kevin won't let me go down there. He's afraid I'll fall. Fall down them long steps. Kevin is my middle son. He was my smallest child, but he's my biggest now. I got four wonderful children, 3 boys and a girl. And you can just about bet that girl's rotten. Oh my goodness, she'll be 48 this next month. Oh my goodness, it don't seem like it. Yes, I've got about 10 grandchildren. I think 11 great grandchildren. And one of my great granddaughters is 20. So, I could possibly live to be a great grandmother. I started making dream catchers about 10 years ago, maybe. And why? Because I've always loved the Indian folklore, and I come across